Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, I am a 27-year-old stay-at-home mom to 3, and I just recently gave birth to my youngest son. So I am almost 4 weeks postpartum. I have a 6-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 4-week-old. So I am finally starting to feel back to myself, and I wanted to do a whole house reset. So I hope that you enjoy today's video, and I hope that it gives you some motivation.
Together, you and I, your touch sends chills down my spine. Alright, I got a brand new love.
Okay, y'all, so I'm going to be starting off in our room, and I'm just restocking this little baby caddy that I have over here on the side table, and I'm just going to straighten up and make sure everything is where it needs to be to make changing him and dealing with him easier. So this is Jai, J-A-I, and he's the sweetest baby, and I just love him so much. So I've always been told by my mom not to have the house too quiet when the kids are trying to sleep when they're babies so they can get used to noise. So that's why you'll see me vacuuming, playing music. I obviously don't have things blasting and, you know, just like unnecessary noise, but I don't keep things quiet. It's easy for him to sleep through the kids' noise and all that, and he just be chilling. Another thing is I don't make my kids too attached to me, so he gets a lot of holding time, but then he also gets a lot of me putting him down in his bed. So in this video, I really wanted to make sure I swept or vacuumed each room and mopped, because I have not mopped any of these rooms in weeks, if not months.
Thought that I'd be healing now. I didn't think I'd have to feel this now. I thought I would have moved on, but somehow the feeling's still strong. Like I'll be on my way out, thinking that I'm good, right? Suddenly you pass by, now you're stuck on my mind, thinking I was done now. But I guess I'll never be tired of you.
I'm gonna share a little bit of my birth story later on in this video. It wasn't like crazy, but to be honest, I do feel like I am a little traumatized. Just from little things that was just like, I'm like, yeah, I'm over it. Anyway, as far as postpartum, I am almost 4 weeks postpartum, and I do feel for the most part back to myself. There is like, you know, some waves of like baby blues, but for the most part, through the grace of God, I do feel good, and I'm starting to feel like back to myself. I would say set boundaries for yourself. With Jaden, I was younger, and I didn't feel like I could set boundaries. It got a little bit better with Janae. You carried this baby for 9 months. You pushed him or pushed them out. You do not have to rush and let anybody see your baby. If you're in a position where you can deny people to come to your house or whatever, then please do so and just give yourself time, because I feel like that's really been playing like a part with my postpartum. Is just me giving myself time to bond with the baby and then learn like our new routine with dealing with him and dealing with the other 2 kids, and just being able to heal. You know, that would be a piece of advice that I would give to a postpartum mom.
You see my hottie, I feel run kitty when I pull up on you. Yeah, I mean I feel act when I see you blushing, girl, you put me on. Yeah, girl I want, girl I like you, so me want. Girl I want, girl I like you, you like me too. Yeah. People say if you're trying to enforce it, something ain't right. Ain't the same when the sun when you know you really like all the feels in the moment. Man, it kills when I know where we did go. Yeah, where we did go. No, I be good, I do that. You see me, you can for me, big girl. I do it, you do it.
I did use a little bit of Pine Sol when I was cleaning the bathroom this time, but lately, y'all, I have been loving just using hot water and bleach. And recently I got a what's that bleach, the Sentiva bleach, so it has like a smell, but overall it just ends up smelling like bleach. And then also in this video I have the window open, so I'll spray the shower curtain with this fabric freshener, and then the cold breeze from outside comes in and it just makes everything in the bathroom smell fresh.
Just pulled up to the house, don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back and crack this window. I've been doing my best, taking a moment to rest, feeling stressed out. Give it a good, I put that on God when it gets hard. I stay on my job like no days off, so you can go home.
I keep saying this, but I have to get like a basket or something to hide the cords. And honestly, in real life, the cords don't bother me. So I don't even know why I keep mentioning it. It's just like when I'm doing my voiceover and I'm looking at the video, I just see all those cords looking like that. And it just, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, at this point, I'm feeling good because I'm knocking these rooms out and I'm actually getting a chance to mop. Towards the end of my pregnancy, I had no strength to do anything. Like I would sleep most of the day, and it would take me, like if I did clean, it would take me like a full day just to clean one room, and at that the room still wasn't really clean. I am anemic, and so like when I'm pregnant it gets worse. I had to have multiple iron transfusions. I had to get my iron pills up, and even with doing that, my iron was still low and I still felt just weak all the time, and it was just depressing to want to clean but not physically be able to clean. It was just, yeah. So I'm gonna let some music play and then I'm gonna come back and just tell a little bit about my birthing story.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy, or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away. Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over, I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you, and I know that I said all these things, but no.
Okay, so like I said, my delivery, like this delivery, it wasn't like too crazy because overall everything went good and he was born healthy, so that's all that matters. But it was just a few things where I'm just like, yeah, I'm traumatized and I'm cool with him being my last baby. At one appointment, they felt like my heart rate was like too high, so they sent me to labor and delivery, did they test, ended up doing an ultrasound, and then they said that he had too much fluid around him, so they wanted me to get induced. Mind you, I got induced with my two other kids just simply because I was over it and I told them to induce me. So this time with my third baby, I was like, I just want to experience like what it feels like to just be at home and have contractions or my water break. So I was determined to not get induced, but they was like, they think that I should get induced. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I came for my induction day. They did an ultrasound before they started the induction, and they was like, he's breached. Mind you, it was weird because 2 days before he was heads down, and like the whole rest, like half of my pregnancy, he was head down. So they're like, they was confused on like how he was breached. So at that point they was like, well, we can't obviously induce you while he's breached, so we would have to schedule a C-section, but we can't do it today because we're booked and busy when it comes down to the C-section, so you're gonna have to come back. So they scheduled me for 2 days later for a C-section, and I'm having a panic attack. They told me I needed to be there at 6 a.m. So I was up at 4, but really up earlier because I was up crying and just worried sick about having the C-section. I never had a C-section. I never had surgery, period. So I was a mess. Girl, I get there 6 o'clock in the morning. They do an ultrasound. before, you know, just to whatever, and he was back heads down. So they're confused on like, how is he full term and just turning around like this? And they're asking me like, are you feeling him turn? I'm like, I feel him moving, but not what you would imagine a full term baby doing a 360 would feel like. So anyway, now they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do a C-section. We're just going to induce you. So I was happy. It was just little stuff. Like they was having a hard time doing my IV. So I got poked like 4 or 5 times. Like they got it on the 5th time. My epidural, which is like what's new. Me and epidurals, y'all, it just never goes smooth. This time he messed it up like twice. He attempted twice. And then he finally was like, okay, I'm going to call, like, I guess the head anesthesiologist, and this guy had the nerve to say, he gonna say, would you like me to try again in the meantime until he come? I said no. Mind you, I'm being quick with the story, but just know he was really messing up, like, okay. And by the time it was time for me to push, my epidural was like wearing off. I started to feel everything. So Jaden was like 6 pounds 10 ounces, Janae, or like he was like 6 pounds 12 ounces, and Janae was 6 pounds and 10 ounces. So I always had like a 6-pound baby. Jai was 8 pounds and 13 ounces. I'm telling you, y'all, I don't know how some females do it natural, because I literally thought I was about to go to heaven. I literally thought, y'all, like I was gonna die. Like it got to the point where I was like, I did one last push and I was like, I'm just gonna lay here and close my eyes and go to sleep. When I say go to sleep, I mean like perish. Okay, so anyway, so it got to that point, she started, like the doctor started pulling the baby out, which I'm really happy that she was doing that, because I literally told myself I'm going to do one last push and that's it. I can't do it anymore. Anyway, with all that being said, he came out, he's healthy, and when I said that the epidural was wearing off, it wasn't because of like how long it took from the epidural to me pushing. It was because like it was messed up, so it wasn't really right. So anyway, when I got into the postpartum room is when the spinal headache started, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Okay, like it might be a few people that I might wish that on, but it was really bad, y'all. So basically, y'all gonna have to look up what a spinal headache is, but it's basically when they mess up your epidural and they puncture a hole somewhere and the epidural leaks, which causes like problems. So my whole spine, it hurted. My neck was stiff. It was hard for me to move my neck, and I had the worst. It wasn't even a headache. It was a full-on migraine. For a week, I was dealing with this. So when they was at the house, when I was in the hospital, like postpartum, they was giving me like Tylenol and ibuprofen every 4 hours, but really I felt like I needed like a whole Percocet, honestly. But I didn't say that because I didn't want them to think that I'm just trying to sit here and get drugs. And I usually do a good job with like advocating for myself. And I know some of y'all like, girl, like if you in pain that bad, you should have asked for a Percocet. I should have, like, looking back at it, I should have just said, girl, screw these ibuprofen and Tylenols, I need a Percocet. And then she eventually, like the nurse was saying like, okay, we're gonna try to do ibuprofen and Tylenol, and then if it doesn't go away, then we will give you like a piece of Oxycontin. And I'm like, a piece? Like I felt like they was like treating me kind of like, I don't know. So like it was a different anesthesiologist, and he came in and he basically was trying to tell me that usually in this situation they would do the same epidural process, but instead of the epidural medicine, they would take my blood and then spread my blood around to try to seal up the hole. And he basically was telling me that he don't really suggest me doing that process, because since it's so hard for them, I guess, to give me an epidural, they didn't want to risk possibly puncturing like another hole or whatever and making things worse. So I basically just had to go through that pain for a week. And if you could imagine going through what you already have to go through during postpartum and then unnecessary pain, because I looked it up, it says it happens to 1 out of 500 women. So I think I said that right, but basically it doesn't really happen that often. So I was just kind of like annoyed that it happened. But anyway, overall, obviously all of the stuff that I was going through is kind of like minor when I think about like just being able to be blessed, like, you know, my son being healthy. We are towards the end of this video. I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I want to say thank you again to Kimmy and Nikki for buying stuff off of the baby registry. We are using everything and we really appreciate it. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I will see y'all in my next one.
Shed a tear for me, baby, if you dare. Maybe then it would show me that you care, 'cause your words never cry an ocean for me, for the dumb shit and the damage you've done. 'Cause I've been crying oceans for weeks. Tried to fight it, but I'm drowning alone. Sister, save me now. Save me now. Whoa. Sister, save me now. Save me now. Whoa. Every setback, every mishap, every time you say you gon' change.